I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to blame. I'm not going to make excuses. And if you're Italian, I'm not going to have self-pity. I'm not going to feel bad. I'm going to stop. Basta. That's right. So now, you're no longer going to think the same thoughts that are going to make the same feelings. Right? You're going to say, I stop. So, 2 hours goes by, and you feel really good about yourself. But now the body, who's been conditioned over time to that cycle of chemistry for 20 years, the body, the cells of the body, have modified the receptor sites to make more room for the chemicals of guilt. And the cells of the body, they go like this. What is she doing up there? We have changed our receptor sites. We've modified our chemistry. This continuity is pretty reliable. And all of a sudden, she's going to stop today. We can't have that. So all the cells of the body, they get together. And they say, let's send a message to the brain. So now they send a message up the spinal cord, right up to the circuits of the brain. I call that the fast track. Straight up. Now, at the same time, the chemistry of the body, the chemistry of guilt has lowered. Because you're not thinking and feeling the same way. So, values have lowered. And the thermostat in the brain, called the hypothalamus, says values are going down. We got to make more. So it starts to signal the thinking brain to start to think in its habitual ways. And then the next thing you know, you start to hear these thoughts in your head. The chatter. And it starts to say things like, you can start tomorrow. Tomorrow's a better day. Not today. Or how about this one? Any other time but this time. This is a good reason to suffer. And of course, my favorite is, this doesn't feel right. And the moment we believe in that thought, the moment we listen to those sub-vocalizations in our brain, we immerse ourselves back into that automatic program and we return back to the normal self. Now, psychology tells us that 90% of who we are subconscious programs that we've memorized. 10% of our conscious mind is fighting against 90% of our subconscious automatic programs. So the person may consciously want to be happy, They may consciously want to be healthy. They might consciously want to be free. But the 20 years of guilt and suffering, the redundancy of those chemicals has conditioned the body to be the mind. And when the body becomes the mind, that's called a habit. A habit is when the body's become the mind. So the change then is to pull the mind out of the body and put it back in the brain. So, think about this. How many people here could, at some point in their life, couldn't consciously remember a phone number? And then they pick up the phone, they look down at the keypad, and they go like this. And they dial the number. I mean, what's up with that? In other words, your conscious thinking brain couldn't remember it. But you practiced it so many times that your body knew better than your brain. Now, that is where our emotional reactions exist. That's where our personality and our behaviors stem from. Memorized automatic programs. And psychology tells us by the time we're 35 years old, the identity, the you and the me, the personality is completely formulated. Which means we have memorized a set of behaviors, a set of attitudes, a set of beliefs, a set of perceptions that are unconsciously programmed within us. So the person may consciously want to be happy, but their body has been conditioned to be the mind, and it's conditioned to be unhappy. So the mind and the body are in opposition. And when mind and body are in opposition, and the body has been conditioned to be the mind, the servant, which is the body, has become the master. And the master's gone off to sleep for 20 years. And now the master wants to get back on the throne. What's the servant going to say? Where you been? You don't know any of this stuff. So mind and body in opposition is the biggest reason people can't change. And when the conscious mind is going against 90% of that subconscious automatic state of mind, and when that program runs, when the automatic program begins, it's so memorized that it only takes a stimulus from the environment, from a person or a thing, or a stray thought in our own mind, and it cranks the program, it starts the program, and we go unconscious. So how awake are we during our normal day? So then, how do we change? I mean, how do we begin to make conscious what was unconscious? Because when that automatic program runs, it's like when your computer, how many people here have, when your computer all of a sudden starts doing crazy things, the programs, and you start going, the windows start coming up and the program's gone out of control? Yeah, all the time. So the conscious mind trying to change that automatic program would be like you yelling at the computer, hey, stop, stop. The computer's going to keep doing what it does. It doesn't change. So we have to learn how to get into the program, into the operating systems, and begin to unlearn that state of mind and relearn a new state of mind. So then you can begin to see why our prayers aren't answered. If a person prays with intention to be free with their mind, but their body has been conditioned to guilt, mind and body, their whole being is not in the prayer. So when we said, rejoice in your prayers, it means then that you have to condition the body with a new mind. And when mind and body are working together, the heart is open. When mind and body are working together, the power of the universe is moving through us. And so then, I'm so happy to see so many men in the audience. Because when I lecture, most of the time it's women. But Latinos, they have a great balance between their head and their hearts. They really do. And men's brains work very differently than women's brains. Women? Men? Yes? Now, I love to study functional brain scans. I love them. And if you look at a functional brain scan, is a motion picture of the brain. And when we can see the brain in action, or we can see the brain at work, that's called mind. Mind is what the brain does. And with functional scans, we can see how the brain and mind are working. Now, ladies, if you look at a functional brain scan of a man resolving a problem, very single-minded, very same pattern. And if you say to the man, I'll give you a little hint to help you solve the problem. If you give them the hint, the scan doesn't change. Like when your husband's driving along and you're lost, and you say the map says this, and he doesn't listen, he goes the way he thinks he should go. That's because men are very single-minded. 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 Intentional. Clear. Single-minded. That's why when they go Christmas shopping, they go out and they buy one present. They come home. They cross the name off the list. They wrap the present. Put it under the tree. Go back out the same day. Hunt again. Buy the second present. Come home. Cross the name off. Wrap the next present. Very linear. Very methodical. Most of the men are very serious right now. That's the male brain. Now, men's brains are wired for intention, for activity, for single-mindedness. Now, if you look at a functional brain scan of a woman resolving a problem, oh my God.